What's up, survivors? It's HG Dan here, back with 5 more tips for Stranded Deep. Let's get into it. What's up, survivors? Yes, it's HG Dan, and we are here with 5 more tips for Stranded Deep to keep you alive and keep you surviving. Now let's get into these tips. What are they? So the first one is anchors. Number 2, raft damage. Number 3, beds on rafts. Number 4 is spear guns, and number 5 is crab fights. Yes, the crab fights. The heavyweight contenders of the islands. They are the crabs. They are the crabs now anyway because of number 4, and we'll get into that when we get to the tips. So let's have a look at number 1. Now we are currently looking here at our lovely raft that has been slowly developing. By slowly developing, I mean it hasn't developed in the last 2 streams, but we are moving on, and we are talking about anchors. Now, on my last live stream, it turned out that not a lot of people are using anchors, and that their rafts are sailing away, or they're jumping in the water, and then all of a sudden they've got to swim some distance to get an anchor. Now, an anchor is a really easy thing to craft. Now, for example, we're just going to have a look at here. So let's move along to our vehicles. We've got this little bit here. Anchors is just 6 stones, 4 lashings and 1 stick. Now by the time you're getting to a point where you want an anchor, this shouldn't be too hard for you guys to get. In the meantime, do make sure to drag your raft onto an island, like we covered in the 11 tip video about dragging your beginner raft onto the island. Now you can do the same for these rafts as well. Now just drag it onto the island, stop it moving anyway, but get this anchor sorted. So the reason behind it is that you can literally be over by a wreck, and then you can just drop it where it is, and it will stop it from moving. So you can go diving down into... I'm trying to move the raft. Let's go. Let's just throw that over there. We're going to pop that back down there, and let's just see if we can get this raft moving to somewhere, so I can show you what it's like out in the open thing. So this obviously isn't going to be playing with us right now, so I will cut this video and we will get to a point where we are at a ship. Okay, so we are now coming up to, you can see it there in the distance, we're now coming up to where this is. Now it sounds like that we've also got a shark that is interested in this. Now that's a hammerhead. Now we don't like hammerheads, but we're just going to drop our anchor there, and we've immediately come to a halt. Now this is good. So obviously you probably want to be a little bit over the top, but you can see here that we are not moving anywhere. I've even got the sail up. The anchor has literally, well, anchored us in place. Good one, Dan. Now we're now going to be moving on to our second tip. So our second tip is all about the raft damage. Now we did have a quick break to deal with the hammerhead shark that was kind of like thumping on the bottom of our boat trying to capsize us, which they can do. I discovered in my live stream that while happily trying to kill the thing and taking my leisurely time, he actually managed to capsize our boat, which kind of leads into raft damage. Now raft damage, you can see we are butted right up against there. We steamed right into this. We've dropped our anchor. The sail is now up, but we could have the sail down because the anchor means we're not moving. But you don't seem to get so far in the game raft damage. Now I have had this very raft capsized 3 times. Once because of a storm, once because I was just being a numpty, it glitched out and we kind of did a triple, quadruple front flip and ended up in the ocean. And then number 3 was because of the hammerhead. At least I think it was the hammerhead, because he was fubbing, that's a word. We're going to go with that. He was fudding on the bottom of our raft. Now, raft damage doesn't seem to be a thing. To right the raft each time, I've had to drag it in the ocean over to an island and just sort of like do my best to play around with the grabbing and dragging tool just to sort of like get it back up. Now obviously I have done, because we're still here. So yeah, so raft damage doesn't seem to be a thing. I've treated this poor raft quite badly and it's still doing me well. So let's move on to our tip number 3. And we are here back at the base. The HG Dan base, the base that is currently still in development, and we are looking at beds on a raft. Now, I did say beds on a raft, however, I lied. Now, I didn't lie, because when as you can see here, we've got our bed on the raft, everything's looking grand, but there is a problem. When I did this, first of all, there was no problems. However, upon recording this video, it seems that any loose stuff like this becomes problem. When you start moving it around, it starts causing havoc with the raft. So we're changing this tip to just the bed in general. Now, the good thing about this bed is you can clearly pick it up, drop it, move it, do around. You can still sleep and save at this bed. You can also put this bed in containers like so you can carry it around with you. You can then go on to wherever it is you are, the new island, drop that down, save, sleep, whatever it is you need to do. The only downside to this is that early on it's probably quite expensive, so when you're getting started it may be worth just building the shelters or whatever the cheaper way to build sort of like a saving area is on each of the islands until you can start getting, no, that's the wrong button, until you can start getting the materials for the beds. Now obviously sticks are easy to get, but the thing here is the free cloths and the free leather. Now when you start getting to this sort of level, you're starting to build stuff like this, you're starting to build a raft like that, you start to then have your planking stations, looms, and your tanning racks. That all becomes very easy to craft one of these. So that is your tip number 3. Now if you are finding this video helpful, it would really help me out if you could hit that like button, drop us a comment below, tell me what your favorite tip is, have you used it or have you got any other tips, and also hit that subscribe button. All of this really helps and it pushes the video out to more people the more that you guys engage. So thank you very much. I appreciate you coming and spending this time with me on these videos so far. And also, if you want to spend more time, I do have a Discord. The link is in the description below. Make sure to come and join us in Discord. Now moving on to step number 4, spear guns. Here we have the spear gun. Now it's actually something that's really easy to craft once you have the level for it, and also once you have found yourself some air canisters. Now air canisters will come up in like the ships, normally the bigger ships, but it's something that you can find relatively easily, and as you can see it only takes like some tape, duct tape, an air canister, 2 sticks and a bit of leather. Now if you are at the stage where you're creating beds, you probably have some of this laying around. Make sure to create one of these because you will see the benefit in a minute. So what I want to do is I just want to see if I can find some lashing without going onto that island again. Here we go, perfect. 1 2 3 4. Let's create 2 because you will see the benefit of these bad boys in a second. Let's just put that there. We're going to create ourselves a spear thing there, and we're going to create another one. And what we're going to do now is just pick these up, and you can see that it's automatically loaded in the spear gun. Now watch this. Pigs were my nemesis on islands. Now you've got some decent range on these guns, but what you will see, we've hit that pig. That pig is now bolting. That is the end of that pig. They will never come near you again. That is it. The pigs will just run from you. Even when they've stopped bolting around and they're back in their walking pace, if you go near them, they're now afraid of you. Look at this crab just pushing through my boxes like that. Who does he think he is? Like, look. We're going to get on to tip number 5. Coincidentally, we're being chased down by a crab on our own island. But there's another crown of thorns. a legit thing, not a sea urchin. It's a type of starfish. But that is tip number 4 is the spear gun. Once you're able, create that, because it is a bad boy of a weapon. And the spear dart things, arrows, are literally, as you saw, just a stick and a lashing. Which, now that I've popped it, I wanna just see if we can find those pigs actually, so I can show you the impact that has now had on these pigs. So we're just going to run up to this pig. Look at it run. It's running. Because we've got that dart in it, it's now afraid of us. Which is sad, but at the same time, they were my most hated things on islands. Now moving on to our last and final step. It is the heavyweight clash. HG Dan versus a crab. I mean, he's clearly the aggressor right now. Look at him. He is bolting towards us. Now, the best thing to do with crabs is literally just tank it out. Step backwards, keep attacking, just keep in mind of where you are. But, like, I find it is literally best to just stand there and have it out with the crab. Because you have to have a sweet spot each time you throw that spear. So throwing the spears is sort of like the most common way that I used to deal with them, from a distance. But if you don't get that sweet spot of just underneath their higher armored shell, and you know where their face is, you need to throw that spear in their face, and and that can be quite difficult. And then it breaks spears, and then all of a sudden you're running around trying to find sticks, and then you're running onto snakes and getting poisoned, and it's like, oh my god, what's going on? So yeah, so just back away, keep it at a distance, and just tank it out. They don't do a great deal of damage. If you're sort of like worried about that, the good thing is if you just tank it out, just keep an eye on what your health was before, skin it, cook the meat. That's going to get you up to healthy status. Get your drink down, yeah. That's going to give you a healthy status. You're going to replan that health back, and you've cleared the island of a crab. Much easier to deal with. So that is it. So that is 5 more tips for Stranded Deep if you did like them. And as I said, please make sure to like, comment and subscribe. And if you are interested, do hit the link in the description for our Discord. There's some more videos on the screen now, so do make sure to check them out. And I will see you survivors in the next video.